Welcome back to today's broadcast. Let us look into what is happening in USB government, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze's cabinet, and other Biafran members. What is going on as it is? So as it is now, he has now start calling for unity. According to the headline, it says Ngozi Orabueze call for unity of all Biafrans. So she is now calling for the unity of all Biafrans, that everybody should come together so that they will organize and they will have one mind and one direction, so that whenever they call or they shout, let it be one voice, it will be. And let it not be from the other people shouting from here, the other people shouting from there. In fact, in this video, you're going to see it and you're going to hear everything from this our Biafran activist. She explained everything to us, so don't skip any part of it, so that you understand everything that is happening in this video. Mostly at the end of this video, if she said a lot of things that will shock you concerning what is really going on, and then what the government of Nigeria, what they are planning to make sure that they destroy everything Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Mazi Samonekba has already been built. So in fact, as you can see, the other day, one man who named himself one name like that came out, started claiming, saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu need to be by all those kind of something in national TV, and all those things is part of the enemies, is part of the enemies of the Igbos that has been planted in the mix, so that they will use it to destroy every good work of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and every good work of Simon Ekpa. So that is what is there, and every day they are coming up one after another to destroy the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, just watch by yourself and you will see everything, the way everything is happening. As about to watch, like, subscribe, and make sure you share it. Let everyone see things going on in Biafra land.
This is one of the best videos that every genuine Biafran need to watch for you to understand the reason why every Biafra needs to be under the umbrella of the USB. The reason why we need to support USB government with everything that we got. Biafrans, whether you support Brigi or you support BRG or CRC or Fallback or IPOB, after watching this video to the very end, you will understand the reason that recently Dr. Ngozi Orabueze and her cabinet member started calling for unification of all Biafrans under the umbrella of United States of Biafra. This particular update and more will be detailed in this particular video if only you can watch it to the very end. And I am back again with another important update. In fact, if there is any word that I can use in place of important, that word should be used now. This video is an eye-opener. After watching this video, my people, some of the things I heard and I saw in this video was what prompted me to bring it here, so that my fellow Biafrans will equally be updated, will equally receive this wonderful update and know the reason why all of us need to join hand and support the United States of Biafra. Even if you don't like Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, you don't like the way and manner she is taking her government or how she's leading Biafrans, please, for the sole purpose of Biafra recognition, you need to support United States of Biafra right now. Just watch this video. I believe that after watching it, you will definitely have a rethink and support the USB government. Let us watch the video. Please, as we are watching, like this video, share it. Kaiba Sozia, let our fellow Biafran brothers and sisters, let them see the need to support USB. Please share the video, like it also, and tell me what you think in the comment section.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Depends where you are domiciled in this world and where you are watching me from. This is one of your own USB research. I am here this wonderful evening for us to move on with our research and what we do to liberate ourselves, what we do to educate ourselves, how we are going to achieve our own new nation. So this evening, if you followed me on TikTok, we're also live on TikTok this evening, as we are on the YouTube also. So you can also watch us from the TikTok. So you can also watch us from the YouTube. Anyone you choose to watch us from, it's left for you to do that. Please, as you join me this evening, I only ask you to one thing: to like and share the program. We are here to do what we're supposed to do, to prove to the world that holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa is a very big ignorance and stupidity of Nigeria and Finland. Because in their mindset, they thought that holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, will stop us from ideology that what we want is officially a full nation out of Nigeria government. So their mindset was Nigeria is the ignorance of law, believing that keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in prison and arresting Simon Ekpa will make us to stop, that we will never achieve Biafra as a country. But we want them to know, to understand that that is ignorance of the law. That is ignorance of what they call ideology. Because you can't kill ideology with gun and bullets. You can't use force to stop ideology. Ideology only needs solution. Ideology only needs what? Solution. And only through solution, is how you can be able to understand and minimize and control ideology. But if you think that when a child is crying, that the only thing you can do is to flog that child, you are deceiving yourself. That is what they simply mean. So, for every genuine Biafrans, I sincerely want you to understand it clearly that the ideology never dies. A leader might pass away, a leader might be incarceration, but nothing will happen to ideology. The ideology is a message. In common words, the leader is a messenger of the message. So when the messenger is not there, the message to continue, we choose, we possess people that will carry out the message. This is how the world narrates what we are doing, where we are, and why only US declared as this time is the only way that we can achieve Biafra as a country. And the only way is through the legal part of it. Now that we have transitioned fully into the legal parts of how many countries in this world have achieved their own country, and we, the people of Biafra, has gotten it through the legal rights, through our peaceful redeclaration that took place in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, on November the 29, 2024. That is the only legal way that many countries and every other countries in the world that have lost their country, this is how they achieve their own. And that's way they have achieved their own is where we are at this point. That is why I urge you that I want you to understand that it's only through this way is the only way through a redeclaration or declaration is how America becomes a country. Through declaration, Namibia becomes a country out of South Africa. Through declaration, which is the legal way, all these countries that we are hearing today, all of them becomes what? A country. Now, when you look at the way it's being sound today, when you are not careful to repeat, to look at history, you will be ignorant of history. And when you are ignorant of history, what will happen? The stupidity will become the dangerous delicate, that the stupidity will be destroying the people that are piloting the movement. But also, the only way you have removed yourself from ignorance and stupidity is by looking at how others has been passing this process. How do they pass through this road, and what was their gain? And under the international law and all their co-laws, then you may understand that they said that a movement without a full structured government in exile, that movement is wallowing under the ignorance of international law that will lead them into stupidity. So, the most bad thing in life to happen to you when these two things is swallowing into your life and moving around you. One is what? Ignorance. Number two is what? Stupidity. When stupidity in your life triggers you, it will controls you, it will now lead you on the path of ignorance that is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. So when you see all these organizations like IPOB, MASOB, so-called fake Brigade of Ogenkere, BGC, CRC, PUC, Omajan, Veteran, and all these things, all these men are wallowing under the ignorance of law. What's law? The ignorance of international law, of UN Charter, Geneva Convention, Vienna Convention, and the Montevideo Convention, the father of them all. That is what they are wallowing under it. And as they are wallowing under this ignorance, if you see them, they will be making mouths like they know what they are doing. But what are they doing? They are wallowing, moving around under ignorance of the law. What pushes to ignorance? Stupidity is what leads you to the ignorance of, because when you are stupid, you will be messing up. And you are messed up and you are part of not getting it right, will lead you into a law. That's where law will catch you up, and it's going to be what? It's going to be, you are going to now use, hey, I am ignorant of this law. And I am here to let you to know that ignorance is never, never an excuse in the eyes of international community. Is not an excuse. That is why when IPOB, based on protest, agitation, and all these things they are doing, and the world look at them and said, oh, they are ignorant of how they're supposed to achieve their country. They never knew that way to achieve their country is through a law. That there is a law that guides you when you lost your country, how you can be able to get your country back. And IPOB heads on 14 years of ignorance of the law. And they will be on this ignorance and claiming that they know it all, that they are doing it the right way. That is why many Biafrans are being pied today, and nobody is talking about these Biafrans are being pied every blessed day. Nobody is talking about the Biafrans that are being pied every day. Do you know why nobody is talking about them? It's because of, in the part of IPOB and all these things, we have been wallowing under the ignorance of law, and our stupidity is why the world will turn their back on us. The world was waiting for us to land on the part of the legal part of how every other countries in this world have achieved their own nation. That is why I want you to understand that this time on this stage that we have come back to the legal part of the how Biafra should be a country through the legal means. Now we are back up with all the international law like the Geneva Convention, Montevideo Convention, Vienna Convention. Go to all this article. Then that is how you will see that we, the people of Biafra, that we have come in thanks in the line of how the USB will become and how we were able to get our lost country that we lost in 1967. That is where we are. So based on that, that is why I want you to really understand the stage where we are today, that the only way to achieve this Biafra as a country is by you obeying and supporting the redeclaration of United States of Biafra that was declared in Helsinki, Latin Finland. You may look at it and say, oh, is that in Goza? What happened in Finland? But the truth and the legal part that you undermined because of your stupidity will now land you on ignorance that is not going to be an excuse in the eyes of the law. Everything we do has a law. And on that law is where you, as be declared, stand at this stage. So if you never knew, I want you to know that all of you who are against this government of USB, that by January next year, all of you, your stupidity will lead you to cry, had I known. Also, we want the entire world to understand that this Christian nation is not under the stupidity of the ignorance of the law. Rather, we believe in the legal part. That is why the movement of Helsinki, Latin Finland is the only way. Like how America becomes a country today is the part where we are at this stage. How every other nations in this world achieve their own is where we are at this stage that we are into. That is why we must stand on this legal criteria. There is no going back. Because after the Biafran war, this is the first time that we are coming to the line of words. We have come to the line of law, not just a local law. We have come to the line of law that guides AU in Africa, the law that guides United Nations, the law that guides ECOWAS, and all of them in this time that we are into. So that is why we must support. That is why we have to be a proud citizen of United States of Biafra, redeclared. Anyone from us that is today that is undermining the US declared is swallowing under two things: stupidity and ignorance. So our today's program focus to prove to you how you can claim you are fighting for Biafra, but you are wallowing under ignorance of how this Biafra will become a nation. That is what we are here today to do to you. We are going to prove under our research like we always do. We are going to prove it to you under our research so you will understand that whatever you think you are claiming today that is not true legal, that you are getting it right. That's not that you are getting it wrong. But when that thing stand on the legal backup, you are getting it right. So whoever that is attacking USB, I want to tell you that two things is just your problem. One is what? One is that you are ignorance of this law. Number two, your stupidity is not going to be an exercise of the law. That is one thing that I want to understand at this year we are into. No one will stop USB because after we have lost the war in 1960, our people has been massacred and been died and being killed anyhow because of ignorance of the law. But today, we are no longer under the ignorance of this law that people has been on it over all these years. So anyone after US declared who is not supporting be under this government, you are wallowing under stupidity that leads you to ignorance. What Finland is playing today is ignorance of the law and stupidity. Because under the international law, we have our rights. We have our inalienable right to protect ourselves and fight for our own nation. Because it's only through this way, and this road is the best way to achieve Biafra, that the world will equally support us in everything that we are doing because of what we have come to the legal part of it. So I sincerely want you to understand where we are, what we are doing, and why we are doing that. We are only doing this because of we need our country that we lost in 1967. We have never denied who we are, or we have never lost who we are. We remain who we are. That is why we issue a peaceful redeclaration of United States of Biafra under the constitution that guides every law of how we can achieve our country like every other countries in this world in the past. That's why I mentioned to you, there was a day America was like us. There was a day that Japan was like us. There was a day Israel was seeking for recognition. There was a day Israel is just under organization, the transition and issue the Declaration of Israel by a woman. A woman was the one who declares a name of a country called Israel. That is why our own also has been declared by one and only our Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Orebeze, whether I like it or not. And we are not going back. We are not relenting because we have met every standard criteria of becoming a nation. This criteria is not by gun and bullets. First, the criteria must be a legal means. That is why we need to, with this time around, the government is looking how every other country achieve their own through the legal means, and that is what US declared is doing at this 21st century based on all the international laws that guide what we are doing. So I sincerely want you to understand and know that if you are standing on USB declared, that you are standing on the paths of how Biafra should be a country. We must understand it clearly that in Africa, many countries in Africa achieved their own through a word. Namibia issued declaration in 1960 out of South Africa. Namibia succeeded by getting their freedom from the hands of who? South Africa. Is how Namibia achieved their country. Ethiopia lost their country in the hands of British. They redeclared it back and achieved their country. So without a peaceful declaration of a lost country that leads you on the path of a pure legal path, there is no other way to have it. And I am here this evening to prove it to you through all the conventions and law. You may not like the program, you may disregard it because of what, but I want to tell you one thing, that we are not here to tell you how I feel, what I think, or what I know, but I am only here to present to you what the Lord said about you, about we having our nation. When you are very important, when you are building something, you're trying to find the criteria or how this works out. Is it possible? How can I get it by myself? These are the areas that we need to checkmate on ourselves. Like if you want to enter school, school has procedure. School has protests. How you can enter. School also, before you enter the school, the owners of the school has already put a criteria how you can enter the school and how you pass out. If you want to pass out, you must follow the criteria or the law that governs the school. The law has already been there before you try to enter the school. The law has already been there before you want to enter the school. You did not enter the school and change the law. You did not enter the school and produce a new law. Rather, when you enter the school, you obey the rules and the law that guides the school. The same thing when we are fighting or you are trying to declare a nation or to redeclare and get a lost one back. You have to follow a due process. What is the due process? The due process is the criteria. What is the criteria? The criteria is the legal aspect that has already been there before you. And how every other person that have achieved their country in the past, the road they followed, and they was be able to achieve their country, simply means you are not the first person that has ever passed this through law, through this road, through this criteria. Whatever, if you buy a car today, you follow a line of buying a car, you have your document and your driving license and all of them. Can you just go and buy a car and jump driving without going to school to learn how to drive the car? Can you going to do that? This is what our people are not thinking. You want in your child, oh, we want Biafra. Then that Biafra you want, what are the criteria? What are the things that will remove you from ignorance of not knowing that this is what supposed to do, and what will remove you from stupidity? Under those that you are calling to recognize you, do you think that you can be under ignorance and stupidity, and you want those that are not under the ignorance or stupidity to come to you? They will not come. They will look at you until when you change, become a better person through a law, and they will come and answer you.
So, I've learned one or two things from this explanation where this our learned USB cabinet member gave to all Biafrans today. That USB, United States of Biafra, are following the due processes that every new nation are meant to follow. That without these processes, no yafiaho inwete recognition, and also international community, any other powered country cannot recognize an agitation group. They can't recognize IPOB. They cannot recognize Biafra Republic Government in Exile. They cannot recognize CRC. The only group that can be recognized by this powered country right now is United States of Biafra, because they have redeclared Biafra that was lost. When I hear the explanation where this our brother gave us, that some country redeclared their country, but based on unfortunate incident, they might lost it. And when they regain themselves, they will come back and redeclare it again. And they later gain it back after following the duty criteria laid down by the international bodies. My people, and I thank God he said that the USB government, they are doing their best, making sure they follow all the criteria laid down by this international law to receive recognition for the new nation redeclared again. So Biafrans, drop your opinion in the comment. Please don't forget to like and share this with other Biafrans. I will see you guys again very, very soon.
Oh yes, this is very powerful. You have heard everything this our brother said, and also the one our sister, the way she explained everything she explained is very, very powerful. What we need is unity, love, and one mind, so that we can move and get where we are going. Apart from it, I don't think if there is anything that can take us to where we are going. Not dividing, not pushing one apart, and not doing as if we are in war with one another. So it's only one love, one mind, one hand that can take us to wherever we are going. We pray may Chukwuka Biama help and lead every group and everyone who is coming to make the journey easy. What we need and what everybody need is a new idea, new push, and forwardness. That is what everybody need. I would like to comment. What do you think about your thing happening in the land, in the country, in Nigeria, in Africa, and what is your mind towards Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa? Thank you for watching.